What's going on, everybody? Wilson here, your spiritual hype man, and I am super happy to be back. I'm feeling great. I just got off the phone with my aunt. Shout out to her. I actually forgot to send her a birthday wish, and she's like, "You didn't fucking call me," and I was like, "I'm so sorry." But and I did explain to her that she wasn't the only one of my family that I forgot to. But now I put it in the calendar, so I definitely get reminded. So shout out to anybody else who I forgot their birthday as, or if today is your birthday, happy birthday to you. I hope you're doing well. And if you're not, just remember it's the thoughts in our head. It's just the thoughts, and we have to figure out how to change those thoughts. Different prompts, different questions. Sometimes hard. You're right. I've been there. I think we've all been there. To get those, to change those feelings automatically, right? That's the Jedi mind master. If you can fucking zen out and learn how to shut those thoughts off and just understand that things are just temporary and there's cycles and it goes up and it goes down. And as long as you're better the next time it comes around, then you're actually doing something well and you're progressing. Then you're good, right? Then you're good. Then you know it's just temporary and you can get out of that funk. Or you just do something physical, right? Push up, sit up, scream, yell, listen, ice bath. Something physical, go for a bike ride, Pilates, whatever you want to do. A little bit of yoga. First of all, quick shout out to Waymat. Thank you for sponsoring this episode and being a sponsor for an NCUID. That's right. We got another sponsor, NCUID. Waymat.com. Get your yoga mat, towel mat, the best thing you're ever going to use. We have like, I don't know, 30 of them. It's pretty awesome. So shout out to them. Those guys are great. But going back to what I was saying today, so this episode, we're going to do a couple quick ones. I want to talk about I want to share the story. This happened, I think, 2 weeks ago or about a week ago. Okay, wait. There's way too many things going on. When I told my aunt, I was like, hey, listen, I'm sorry I forgot. Definitely was not in the right mindset around that time. There's so much shit going on. It was a little bit crazy. And this is exactly what happened. And so I want to share with you what happened in our situation and the learnings that I got. Now, this deals with our kiddo who lives with us, 19 years old, somewhat, I would say very, very highly intelligent. We're also questioning the fact if there's a little bit of spectrumnism going on there as far as certain things in terms of like social IQs, things like that. There's been a couple of things that have happened before where we raised our flags and questioned. The hard part is when you become an adult, it's very hard to get someone officially, I forgot what the word is, but officially recognized as someone like autistic or on the autism spectrum. So 19-year-olds, highly functional, super smart, but definitely sometimes lacks this either social or concept of certain ways of thinking or doing. And sometimes we question and we're like, I don't know if it is autism or you're just really not fucking figuring shit out or connecting the dots correctly, Awesome kid. Love the kid. I have love for all of them. But definitely this one because he's still around and he's decided to stay here with us and be part of the Willpat journey. So shout out to him. Now here's the situation. A couple weeks back, he still doesn't have his license. He's got his driver's permit. A couple weeks back, he came into the kitchen. I was in the kitchen. I was like, all right, what's up, Oz? All right, what's going on? I know you want to talk, but ultimately he shared his I don't know, not really anger, his frustration. He shared his frustration of not having a license yet, not being able to drive yet, which obviously at 19 years old, and again, it doesn't matter, just being able to drive, to have that sort of freedom or not have to wait on anybody to drive. We get that 100%. Backtrack a little bit. I've tried teaching. And again, this is where I don't know if it's part of the spectrum or if it's just more of like, fucking inability to figure shit out. I've tried before, and I got to a point where I knew that I wouldn't be the right person to be able to teach him with the patience that I had at the time. Right now, maybe a little bit more, but I feel like sometimes it's important to to give other people an opportunity. So the other guy who, lack of better word, or, for me, I'm going to say FF1 because it's just an acronym for fuckface one. And that's just the way I am right now and how I feel about him at this certain situation. And that's bio dad, right? So not a really good relationship there at all, I would say. And definitely a hindrance, I feel like, to some of the influence of the things that we try to teach and instill in our camp, right? Our team. So just, bio dad FF1 tried doing it, and and it was cool. Like he would come home, he'd be feeling happy. They did a lot of highway driving, but yet for some reason it stopped, and he didn't get a license. So like FF1 didn't bring him to get a license. And again, I don't know what the situation is, so I'm not going to speak more on that. But ultimately, still no license, even though it was tried before. If I were to evaluate the individual driving our kiddo, I think he's good, but I feel like there's a lot, like if there's too much stimulation at some point, then there's too much mental processing all at the same time that he's very fucking highly functional and very smart at when you need that, and you can not be driving, right? Like if you're, organizing gameplay for soccer or anything like that, super, super great for what he's doing. But in driving, I think especially in town driving, it's going to be very hard for him if there's so many things going on. And like with any new driver, even me, where you get into a new car, you have to figure out all these buttons and then figure out what's what while you're driving. I think will be 10 times harder for somebody that has that way of thinking or the way that brain works at that moment. Even me, right? Even me, because sometimes it's like 1,000 miles an hour. Take a breath. So, reverting back to in the kitchen now, we're talking about frustration. It caught you guys up. He was like, hey, we're super frustrated. And then I was like, wait, this is awesome. It's a great opportunity. Like, I feel like he's, I feel like it's an opportunity to, be the influence, be a positive influence in this situation, and then help him, guide him to think about how do we solve this problem. And so we went through it. We basically spent 2 hours talking about it and coming up with a solution that we both agreed on. Mom was there. Like, mom came in. I was like, hey, this is kind of what we're thinking. It's good, right? So this is what he's going to do. Ultimately, the idea was like, hey, look, if you feel like you're ready to drive, there's two things that we can do. Well, there's really one thing that we can do. Let's go get you a test. If you fail, then you're not ready to drive, and let's put you into a driving school so someone can give you the education that you need to be able to do so. Great. If you don't fail, then you're great. You were right. And now you got a license, and next thing we're going to get you a car, So that was it. That's how we did it. But instead of going to get the license, I think, and I was like, look, the decision's yours, or you can just go and do the school, maybe do a couple hours, and then go, and then we'll take you to, so do a couple hours of driving school, and then we'll go fucking go-kart, like some of the fast go-karts, right? Not like the little bumper cars, things like that, but we'll get in a real go-kart where you need a helmet and shit, and you can get more driving hours, just more feeling of like driving. Obviously it's different from regular driving, but it's still somewhat similar, right? And so that was the plan. So that was the plan. It's like, cool, man. And we want to do responsibility as well as far as like financial. So I'm like, look, I'll pay half for you. We'll pay half. Mom and I will go in half. You take care of the other half for you. So that way you're responsible. You feel fucking good about the work that you're doing and what you're going to get from it. And then once you're done, you get your license, and we'll continue to go, and we'll go to, we'll go to the go-karts, have a great fucking time. We'll do that for a couple weeks, and we'll call it a day. And then in 4 weeks, you should have your license ready to drive. Cool. Nice. Dab. We felt really good about it. I followed up. I was like, hey, so when are you, the plan was he would do the research, figure out what school, we go halves, he'll sign up, and then that was it. So like he did the research. We found a school. We did great. Like, cool, let's do it. He signed up. It was supposed to be Thursday. Like, one of the Thursdays he was supposed to be picked up after work. And that Thursday then happened, and he didn't show up here. And we're like, well, we're like, well, maybe he got picked up from work, right? Like they can pick you up from work, go drive in, and then from work you'll come back. Got home. I got home later because I was playing soccer that day. And then mom was a little upset. They had gotten into an argument because mom was questioning, like, where the fuck were you? Because you didn't come home. And then he was like, no, I was home. He was trying to sell the story that he was home, like trying to tell us, like, I was home. I parked the bike and I was here, and then I got picked up. And we're like, hey, that cannot be true, because we have the garage opener that gives you a notification anytime the garage door opens or goes down. And there was no notification at the time that you say you were home, right? And plus, like, obviously there's security cameras that we have that we can check. And there was none, there was none unless you unless you somehow got into all the blind spots, which there really aren't that many. There'd be no way that you possibly got home and then you left out the front door to get picked up. So right off the bat, like that was the conversation that they had, right, between them. I got home from soccer and I was like, I wasn't in the mode or situation to listen full-heartedly. So I was like, listen, it's fine. I was like, babe, we can talk about it later. If Ozzy went and got his driving school instruction in, if that happened, however it happened, whether he got picked up there and now he's here, that's fine. Let's just not worry about it as long as it gets done. And that was kind of like the end of it. But like, I can tell, like you can see the effect of whatever happened before we got there on Patty's face. Right. And so that was Thursday, and then I stayed up and I did what I had to do after soccer. Sometimes I do a little bit of work, sometimes we podcast, whatever the case is. And then I started thinking about what the fuck was being said and what the fuck actually happened. And then I was like, yeah, there is no fucking way the kid was here. There's no way at all, because like notifications, everything I just said. So I was like, I don't know. I went to bed. I was feeling upset because I was starting to feel upset because, again, I felt like how Patty felt. It's like, what the fuck is happening here? Because we had a plan and now you're lying to us. And then basically the whole thing of like, what, do you not believe me? Sort of thing happened. Like, like it got flipped on us to think that how dare us question the fact, like question what he's saying. And that is like we were parents that don't believe him, or like is discrediting the child sort of thing, So there's definitely some psychological fucking ish there, which again, I've been there, done that. We've all been there, done that. So like you can identify, right? And I identified it right off the bat because I used to do a lot of that mental manipulation. And so whatever, I went to bed. And then I fucking heard him, and I didn't need an alarm. I did not need an alarm. I heard him in the kitchen. I didn't need the alarm to wake up. And I said, hey, Oz. I said, let me ask you a couple questions. I know what happened last night, and I was totally fucking calm, like in this manner. And then same thing. And then he gave me the same shit. And I was like, Oz, do you understand that doesn't make sense? Like that is impossible because of the garage door clicker gives notifications. Right. So he didn't think about that. Right. Like he didn't think about, oh, yeah, that makes sense until that. And then I'm like, so how does that make sense? Like if I were to tell you that and you already know all this information, how does that make sense to you? And so it didn't. And then we, went back and forth, and ultimately I was able to get the truth. And the truth was he doesn't think. And again, I don't know where this is coming from, but I think I know where it's coming from in terms of influence from a different camp, different party, different acronym. As far as him not needing to go to driving school, period. Like, he's like, I don't think I need to go to driving school. I think I'm fine. I was like, oh, okay. Well, then are you going to go take the test? Like, you know what I mean? So, like, it was a plethora of things. Obviously, I was highly emotional. I got to a point where I was very emotional because I felt very like I felt like backhanded, right? Like someone sort of fucking backhanded me, and it's super disrespectful on the fact that, one, obviously, I wanted to be a good role model. I wanted to be a good influence to the kid and show him the way, guide him the way. Had a great plan, worked it out. We were all, dabs. Let's get it. This is going to be great. I can't wait for you, super. And then all of a sudden, it just fucking got flipped on its head, and I'm standing there feeling like Patty was feeling, like, oh my god, what the fuck just happened? Like, this is fucked up, man. And I was so angry. Like, I was angry. Like, now the thing is, I also didn't flip out. I just got upset, and this is what I did. I was like, okay, look. And somebody actually, I shared the story with somebody, and someone actually said that they probably wouldn't have done what I did. And here's what I did. So, he's got an electric bike to take to school. To take to work. Right. So we bought the electric bike because I didn't have the license, is not ready for it. We don't think it's ready. It's like, let's just get him on this was, again, part of the plan a while back. Get him on that, get him comfortable. Took him a little bit to get comfortable. Then he got it. Now he's, fucking electric bike all day. Took the keys. I was like, look, I'm going to take the keys. You cannot take that electric bike, figure out a way to get to work. Okay. And so whatever, you had to Uber or whatnot. So that's what he did. That Friday he had to Uber to work. And that was a lesson to me that I feel like, if you don't, and again, I think this all circles back to making changes, right? If you don't feel something enough to make a change, you're not going to make that change, or it's going to take longer for you to make that change, because you're going to turn around and do the same fucking thing. And if you don't feel enough pain, or you don't feel enough something, it doesn't necessarily have to be pain. It could be emotion. It could be sadness. It could be whatever the fuck. But it has to be enough, or excitement, right? Like positive reinforcement. It doesn't always have to be negative. But if you don't feel enough on the decision that you're making, then it's not going to help reinforce that decision the next time that thing or that situation comes up. And so that was so instead of, back way when generations ago, you probably get your ass beat, right? Like I know I would have gotten my ass beat, which I did, right? Like I absolutely did. Like instead of doing that, now it's more for me, a little bit higher thinking, like how do I create that shift of, and I don't want to say pain, but it is that emotional threshold of like, man, this fucking sucks to the point I don't want to do this again. It's kind of like touching the hot stove, and after you touch it, you're like, man, that really fucking hurt. I'm not going to do that again. It's the same fucking thing. Same concept. It's just a little bit more of like the mental side of things, right? It's a little more psychological as far as, there's not an immediate hurt or burn. It's more of like you have to fucking feel it. And so that's what it was. So I took the electric bike away. I was like, look, until further notice, here's what I need for you. I said, not like until further notice. I was more like, I will revisit giving this back to you if and when you come up with a plan how you're going to move forward and fix your situation when it comes to getting your license. What I need from you, or what I would like to see, is a plan of what are you going to do? If you are going to do a school, what school? Where are you going to go? How are you going to, he's got to pay for it now. I asked him for the money back. I did. I said, give me back my fucking $300 because you didn't use it for the right thing. You didn't fucking do it. And so I just asked him for a plan, and you have to be like, I was like, and you have to be signed up. And once you're signed up, if that's your plan, then I'll consider giving your bike back. So basically it almost went a whole week before he gave the bike back, because, mom almost gave back the bike because she felt bad, and I get it. And I understand. I'm like, I feel the same way, but we cannot go, like we just can't retreat on I think the positive change that we're happening here based on whatever situation, even if it hurts us a little bit, or we feel sad, or we're like, fuck man, the kid's got to ride a regular bike. So he Ubered twice and then started riding a mountain bike instead of the electric bike. And it was hot, boy. It was hot. And that's okay. He survived. He lived. He got the plan. And I said, listen, he came up before he gave me the plan. He said it's something about tomorrow it's going to be hot and the bike, and something like, trying to like ease his way of like, let me get my bike back. I don't know if mom and them were talking, and mom was trying to, kind of put that in. I was like, look, it ain't happening, dude. Like, I've asked you, I already said what I needed to do, what you need to do in order for me to consider giving the bike back. And so he did. He ended up doing it. He ended up, he's going to start here very soon in terms of school. But he did it. He sent it, and then the last thing that I did, which I still need to do and I haven't done, but the thing that I asked, the last thing I asked him to do was like, look, and this is after I gave him the bike back. I said, well, one last thing that I want you to do is I want you to take time and reflect on this entire situation and send me your thoughts as far as what you got from it, right? What your lessons were, what your Mr. Rogers were, right? Like that's what I feel like. Is what did you Mr. Roger it? Like I'm going to call that Mr. Rogering it. And then he sent it. So I still got to read it. Maybe I could read it now. I won't read it now. I'm going to read it. And then I'm going to respond back to him as well. So that was a situation where there were so many emotions involved. And one of the emotions, like, one that I'm working on disconnecting is anytime the other camp gets involved, the other acronym gets involved, there's so much emotional frustration and anger when I think about that like I'm continuing to work on like sort of letting that go and understand like everyone's got their own fucking situation. But to me, I just bothers me that it's still like, even after the kids have turned 18, it's still a fucking influence. For a minute there, I was like, oh yeah, no, this is gonna be okay. And it is. It's not like it was before, for sure. But certain little fucking nuances like that really piss me the fuck off. But that's what I'm working on. That's what I'm doing. You know what I mean? And if you're going through a similar situation or something like that, I hope this helps. I think overall, just to summarize, I think, like there's going to be moments that, like, whether it's for yourself or with your kids or with even people that you're working with or having a relationship with, that you have to, one, set boundaries, and two, if you're helping them, like your kiddos or somebody helping them move forward into a certain situation, there has to be there has to be like a level of guidance that you're giving, but also like a level of, one, boundaries, and then a level of, if something doesn't happen, there's got to be, I don't want to see, and again, consequences get like a negative, but it's more of a reaction, right? So like if X happens, then Y happens. If X happens, or if fill in a different letter, N happens, then H happens, or you know what I mean? That's kind of what happens. Like we were on a gravy train, and then it just got fucking derailed. And so like, what are we going to do? We're going to be like, oh no, it's fine. Cool. Like here, just keep doing what you're doing. No, like there's a lesson involved. And here's the thing, and I'll leave you with this. Like I had shared what I did with someone. I had shared with someone about what I did, and shout out to Anna. If you're listening, I know you're listening. She had mentioned that like if she were to go back, if she would have done, like if it was her situation, she would have done it differently and not taken the bike away, because it would have, I think what it was, and again, don't quote me, but Anna, you can call me and tell me if this is true. It was just more of like it brought back memories of like what she dealt with as a kid, and then what you don't want, like what she wouldn't want to do with her kids. And I accept it. And I think that's a very good perspective. And I would say it's very similar to me, because I can relate to that, because it's like, I used to get I used to get beat, right? Like we all used to get the wooden spoon or whatever, like, the severities of getting physical violence or just getting slapped around for doing something stupid or doing whatever. But you either repeat that or you don't, right? Which is Anna's point, which is very valid, very valid. My only rebuttal was like, it wasn't physical violence, and it was something that pushed him to feel enough of that burn or feel enough of that emotional resonance to actually do something else, like move him towards the direction that we would want him to succeed. Right. And I think that was the best way, because if not, like it wouldn't have even, like he wouldn't have felt the difference of not having an electric bike and then thinking that the electric bike is like where he's going to settle, instead of going and getting the driver's license, which is a little bit of hard work compared to just already having the electric bike. So that was my thought process, as far as and of course, like, everyone's got their own perspective. Everyone's got their own way of doing it. That's just my example in that particular situation. So I hope it helps. Shout out to everybody listening. Thank you guys again for being awesome. Thank you guys again for still tuning in. I'm happy that this resonates with people. Keep sharing. I think sharing is going to be the biggest way that we grow the audience and grow the community as quickly as possible. I would love to do more. If you're interested in even being on the podcast, or if you have a story, find a way to reach out until I add something on the website, which is coming very soon. I promise. Whatever that very soon means, but it will be on there, because I am going to do it. And again, shout out to the Way mat, www.waymat.com. It's the best perfect towel mat that once Ozzy gets a car, he'll have one in his in his car as well. I use it for everything, like, in the new Tesla. Let's go. Every time we play soccer, there's 2 or 3 of those in the mat, and we fucking sit on them after soccer, and it's great. So waymat.com, they're currently running a sale, and if they're not running a sale while you're listening to this, but thank you guys again for doing that. I appreciate you guys for that. Appreciate you guys for listening. Keep crushing it, and don't forget, nothing changes until you do. Peace.